All right, we're back for round nine's review for Supercoach 2024. Horrible week, but like I dropped 200 spots, which means it was horrible. But did have to field a donut, which I didn't have to, but long term I did have to make sure like the team stayed like on its curve for upgrades and stuff like that. So losing 200 spots with the donut, maybe it's not as bad as it looks, but yeah, at first glance, horrible week. I saw a lot of like 2400s, so I even saw a couple of 2500s. So yeah, I don't know, horrible week. Felt like everything that could go wrong did. Um, we'll see how much there is that I can actually fix, like the ruck situation. I'm gonna go on this for like the rest of the year. Why did I trade Grundy? But yeah, Ryan was bad, honestly. Like for 3 quarters, he was on like 60. And then obviously the last quarter happened. He scores 66, does nothing. The team's pummeled. I think they were down 10 goals for like majority of the quarter. I think it got as high as 12 goals. But then they say he's the number one ranked player on the ground. So yeah, it shows that that system kind of needs a rework, right? I think Champion Data's scoring system that they use for Supercoach and for ranking points and stuff like that does need to be fixed. I said this in the off season. I think that the kick out of defense, the kick in, should not be counted as a disposal. Every other form of disposal is a ball that you have to win. Even a free kick play on, you have to win the free kick. The only other way there's a disposal that happens that you didn't win is like a free kick happens, that guy's hurt, and then you get subbed on to have that free kick. I don't even know if that's possible, but I really don't like the kick in, play on is a touch. It kind of doesn't work in the scheme of things. That I'd like the 10 meter ineffective does nothing kick. I'd like that changed. I don't think it should be as high scoring as it is. And Ryan has so many of those. They're 15, but it's like 10 meters. It's like 3 steps away. I don't know why they're calling that 15. But yeah, that's why you brought in Luke Ryan last week, because he just gets stupid points. Like I said, he's Psycho Silas if you play League. Like it's the points make no sense, and now he plays St Kilda. Like what were his actual stats from this week? Yeah, here's his stats: 26 touches, only 2 handballs, 9 marks. But it all came at the end of the game when the game was super over. It was over in the first quarter. Any other team does that, any other player does that, and it doesn't feel like they'd get the same amount of scoring. It does feel like there is a bit of like, he's just doing the exact stuff that kind of breaks the system. So yeah, next year, instead of, we lose another sponsor for the website and we have to change it up and then the website doesn't work properly, or change like a perfectly fine menu system for it to be a lot harder to navigate, maybe we just fix the scoring. Even the scoring key, which is somewhere on here, it doesn't work. When you do the math on scores, it doesn't work. Jaden Popowski on Twitter, I'm probably saying it wrong, but every week it feels like there's a tweet saying like, there's an extra 15 points in here or extra 20 points for no reason, right? Like scaling reasons. Yeah, but whatever. If you haven't got Ryan, 666k, which, I mean, that's the most fitting number he could be at 666. Like, it's the perfect number for him. I think he's actually too expensive to bring in now. It's basically like one more game and he's 700k. And he's got St Kilda, so it's very likely he's going to be 700k with a 71 break even. He could go 171. He has before on St Kilda. Yeah, I think you've just got to play around him now and wait for a down game, which will come eventually. Eventually, there'll be a down game. It was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, didn't happen. It was supposed to be this week, didn't happen. Won't be next week. Hopefully, some point there's a down week, just for the sake of him being fair, right? Like maybe the Collingwood game, Melbourne, probably not. Um, Next time they play Sydney, perhaps because it's at the SCG. Yeah, it's a he's whatever. I can't deal with it anymore. Dacos was good. Going on to actual good players that deserve their score. Um, of course, I watched a fair bit of this game. Dacos was unstoppable. Just felt like he would run out of stoppage like with the ball with no one within 10 meters of him. Yeah, he's super good. Honestly, should have been the captain. But I thought, Bont versus the 2024 Richmond, I thought he'd actually go close to 200. But yeah, so Dacos was fine. Actually, more than fine. It was very good. I almost underscored, to be honest, but it is what it is. Nick Martin was the trade-in for this week. So this week I did go Martin and Ryan. Yeah, that was right. Martin, Ryan, and a rookie, Darcy Jones. That's it. Felt like it. I just had to pick the week where he wants to be just have horrible accuracy. There was a stretch. I didn't watch like the full game. I watched bits and pieces of it. The bit that I turned on, he just wants to bomb it out of bounds. Right, like it was about 3 straight kicks, just snap around the corner, straight out of bounds. Wasn't even close to staying in. Right, like a horrible decision to snap the kick. Then he just like torps it out of bounds, and it's like, oh my god, what have I done? He's gone back to like week 1, week 2. But yeah, he'll be fine. He's still top 6, especially with the Sheasel situation, which we'll get into. But like, yeah, I think it's fine. It's just a down week. Means I could have waited 1 week on him, which I should have done because I could have had Marshall in. But you look at Marshall and like he's got all this strapping around his legs. It's like, well, you shouldn't be scoring as good as you are. You shouldn't have, like, he set a Saints contested possession record, 23, 24. I think it was 23. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. You're meant to be hurt, but whatever. We'll take it. Dan Houston broke his like streak of like tons. I think he missed it last week as well. Yeah, just a kind of awkward game for him. Port were in control for the first half, and then Geelong really like came back into it. But Houston couldn't really kick accurately. Like he had his touches and everything, just couldn't really kick accurately. You'd still think with like a stat line like that, with 24 touches, 9 marks, you'd get close to a ton. But yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing a lot of points went to Butters in that game. Sheasel. So going on to this, man, I don't understand what North is doing. I don't understand how the AFL helps them because they are shooting themselves in the foot. Recording this on a Tuesday, it did come out this morning that they're not going to request for draft pick help, which, I mean, if they did, and even worse, if they did and the AFL gave them compensation or like gave them some help, like at what point is it, trying to help a bad team versus just trying to make all the Victorian teams the top teams and all the interstate teams the bottom teams? Like, at what point does that happen? Playing Sheasel in the midfield is so... It's stupid. All right, I'm bringing up this thing. It's stupid because all you're doing is giving him less touches to have less impact. I understand the idea of, well, 30 touches in the back line means nothing if we're still getting pummeled every week. But going from 30 touches to 15 because now I'm a midfielder and he's not a midfielder. He was drafted as a forward. All you're doing is making his stats worse. Like, that's all you're doing. All you're doing is bringing down his averages. You're not actually trying to win a game. Every team in the league is trying to do the kick out of defense. And Sheasel is a good kick. He's a good, like, reader of football. It's just his team sucks. North Melbourne sucks. Will Powell, not Will Powell. Where is he? Will Phillips, terrible player. Like he's bad. Um, he was tagging Rao somehow. Like Rao just mustn't have been up to it. Like he couldn't be bothered or something because statistically, I guess the tag worked. But like Phillips sucks. Tom Powell it sucks. Wardlaw hasn't shown anything yet. LDU has had a really disappointing season. He was meant to like kind of take the next step because he did at the end of last year, but just 5 steps backwards. Toby Pink doesn't get games. Biggie is a VFL player at best. Paul Curtis has been all right for them. Zerha, I mean, he's okay, but I've always thought he's kind of overhyped. Shields was a bad pickup. I get it for leadership reasons, but he really should never ever be on the team list for a game. McKercher, I mean, you drafted another midfielder and you moved him around the field just to kind of up his averages for some reason. I don't know what you're trying to have him win Rising Star or something. Like, what is the point of what you're doing? Sheasel, you've killed him. I don't know why you're playing him as a CBA mid. Coleman Jones is not an AFL player. Hugh Greenwood was an AFL player maybe like 6 years ago. Not anymore. Lazaro, I mean, he's always hurt, I feel like. I've never seen him get like a full run of games. It feels like he's always hurt. Simpkin is one of the worst captains in the league. Yeah, I don't know. This list sucks. I don't see why you would move Sheasel's position. I think you should have put him back at halfback. And I think they have to. They're gonna get they're gonna get laughed at even more if they keep doing this. They are the worst team I've ever seen. And I watched West Coast with top-up players. North Melbourne is the worst team in the league. I've met people that are fans. I've got like mates at work that are fans of North Melbourne. They even agree they're the worst team you could ever go for at the moment. They're terrible. On the other end, St Kilda are also terrible, but they're just disappointing terrible instead of like bad. Naz, good game from him. St Kilda lose another one that they should have won. Closey was good, but there was just no way I could get him on field. And after 2 weeks of bad scores, there was no way that I was planning to loop this. I couldn't have anyway. Melbourne played first, so there was just no way I could do anything with that. And like realistically, going into the weekend, there's not one person that's going to bench Sheasel for Closey. Pardon me. Into the midfield, Sarong was great. He's another one where it's like he's almost 700k. You have to wait for a down game. Good thing is his record versus St Kilda is not good, but this is also his career best year. So I do expect still a good game from him. I expect like a 120. I don't know if I'd captain him or anything. When is their game? Saturday night. I guess it's because people won't want to watch this. If you've got like a Dunkley or a Neil, they could go for 160. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't touch him. I'd probably go with like a Butters or a Oliver, Petrarca, Merritt, Parrish type of thing. I wouldn't really touch Strong's captain option this week. Bond, like I said, he was good. Didn't really watch any of this game. It was so boring. I like tuned in for 5 minutes and I thought this was like it was like the worst Saturday night they've had this year. Both games were not even close. What was it? Yeah, it was these two. So you put on Richmond Dogs to kind of like, all right, we know people aren't going to watch North and Gold Coast. So we'll put on this, and it was just terrible. It was horrible. Richmond down over 100 points for most of the game. But, you know, Bont did his thing. I think he kind of like in the fourth quarter kind of laxed up a bit, which makes sense. You know, you're already up so much. Merritt, I wish he wasn't so unselfish. He's probably too good of a captain. Like, he's not the best captain in the league or anything like that, but, like, he's too good of a captain that he gives, like, his role up to the young guys, which it's fair enough. Like they need to develop some of these young kids they've got. This list this list is getting a little old at Essendon, so yeah, I see why he's doing it, but like yeah, you could play a little bit of midfield, get some touches. I mean, in saying that, he still probably had his normal game of like close to 30 touches type of thing. What's that? 24. 5 tackles. I mean, yeah, normal game from him. Just a bit of a low game. Butters was very good against Geelong. If he still does a lot of helicopter kicks, the Taranto kick, where it's just kick it out. You're at a stoppage, clear, and you're just clearing it out. You're not targeting anyone. There's no strategy behind it. You just kick it out, get it out of the stoppage, which I feel like most of the time has not worked for any team. So I'm surprised it's still so prominent in the AFL. Like I said, didn't watch this game, but Took was good. Rao was tagged, but I mean, to not get 100 on Will Phillips, I mean, you mustn't have been trying, right? Like, that's crazy. Rao, though, has 192 break even. He's someone that I would target. I still think he's a top 8 to 10 midfielder. I think he's someone that you could target. He'll drop to 550k or even lower than that. So, yeah, I think you can target him. Walsh 119. I thought he was a bit better than that, but that's like every week at this point. He had his high touches, everything like that. Super impactful. Complete opposite of Luke Ryan, by the way. Complete opposite, right? Like actually impactful. Won his team the game. I mean, they were already up, kind of like helped secure the game. Did a lot in the fourth quarter. Because I don't get it. Why he can't 130, but Ryan scores 150 every week. Don't get it. And then had Wilson on. Graham being out did help actually because it meant he couldn't lose any like cash in him. Because I was thinking he could have been the sub. Just looking at how Gold Coast are lining up and everything like that, he is someone that could be a sub. You kind of bring him in fourth quarter, bring in a bit of intensity, but yeah, thank God he wasn't. Probably does go this week though. It just kind of works with trades. Wilson, on the other hand, is a gem. For someone that I said wasn't that good for the first couple of weeks, I'm guessing he was just getting used to the speed of AFL compared to like under 18s, under 19s, stuff like that. VFL even. He's definitely like gotten used to the game. He's scoring good. I think he has a 3-round average over 100. Already there we are. 3-round average over 100, like, and 5-round average over 85. You take that, right? Like that's very good from a rookie. The rucks, I thought Gorn was going to get way better. Pitternet, or if you heard BT call him Pit and Nut a couple of times. Yeah, and it was raining as well. It was kind of like a wet night, Thursday night. So thought he'd do a lot better. Just a lot of hit outs got sharked, stuff like that. Like I said, I could have gone to Marshall. It was like Naismith, but I wouldn't have got Nick Martin. I would have had like 2k in the bank. It took the entire bank to get to Marshall. Decided not to because I still thought Marshall was kind of hurt. Seeing just footage from Saints games and stuff like that, he looks hurt. So does Steele. Steele a bit less strapping this week, but when I traded out Steele, which now looks like a bad trade, but he had like a whole brick on his knee, like worth of strapping. It was like huge. I don't think it was a bad idea to trade him. It's just somehow Wolverine blood, right? Like they've just healed completely and they're better than ever. So I guess a misplay there was just to get Marshall in. I think he'll be like ruck 3 or ruck 4, which maybe for the price isn't a bad idea. Could still go him next week. Can't go him this week. Like it's not possible. There is one guy that I have to bring in, which I'm super not happy about. But onto forwards. Heaney 118. I mean, they dominated the game. He just kind of coasted through it. You know, been a factor of really good passage of play from Sydney. Flanders, he's gone back to halfback, so they're not really doing the midfield thing. It was like a in-game adjustment for one game, which is good. He'll stay around 108 to 120 every week. I could see him averaging like 110. Harley, I mean, they got smashed everywhere. He had a couple of good players. Like there was that mark he took like on the wing, like kind of close to the 50. Then there was also like he had two fend offs. He fended off like side bottom and Pendlebury, but then slipped over. Which I mean that happens at Marvel. Marvel, because of the turf, it's very hard to keep your footing. But yeah, so Harley has been like really good. It's probably time to trade him out. He's got a huge break even on 134, which I don't think he's hitting. Even though what we play Melbourne, yeah, it's Melbourne and Optus. It's actually not that bad. You could hold him, honestly. Like he could put up an 80 or a 90 this week. Then he's got Adelaide. Adelaide's not that bad. It's just the 147's rolled out at this point. Could you hold him? I think you could. They haven't projected 93. I wouldn't go that high. I'd say closer to like an 80. Which means you've got 2 weeks of him losing cash. But then I think his runs back on, and it's like St Kilda, North, Essendon, Hawks. That's a good run. You don't have to trade him. I am, because I have to trade in like the one player I really don't want to trade in. But I'm so far behind now in rank. I kind of need it to get back in. Yeah, I think you could keep him. On the other hand, with Fife, I think this is a must keep. I don't think he should have played. I'm not going to go into it much, but like, you know, rest in peace for Cam McCarthy and everything. You could see Fife shouldn't have played. I think Freo should have had like about 3 or 4 laid outs that just shouldn't have played. I think the way the AFL handled that is really quite poor. The way Freo handled it is really quite poor as well. Yeah, I don't think he should have played, so I'm not going to hold that score against him. You could see just his heart wasn't in it. I could see Fife again being the sub this week if he's just like not, you know, completely over it yet, which like is possible. I don't think he's a trade, honestly. 150 break even. It's even worse than Harley's, but like he's still scoring good, right? Like he's had 2 bad weeks. One, he was the sub. Other than that, like he's putting up good scores. I think you just hold him. Because at this rate, he's F6. Like Powell sucks. He's terrible. You know, if you can't keep Reed, I mean, I think Fife's going to be like F6 at this rate. Like, there's no one here. Like I said, Powell's terrible. Darcy was good. I was just really waiting for like the Ugelhagen and stuff to come back, and I think Lob got dropped this week. I think he did. Let's see. Rory Lobb. I'm guessing, yeah, he must have been dropped. It was against Richmond. It was probably the best match he had in his like fixture. Going against GWS this week is definitely not as easy, but he's got like a super low break even now. 2 weeks, buys come around, you trade him out for someone that's coming off a buy. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Darcy at the moment. I've got a bit of a cold. Dempsey 65. We'll take that. I mean, I did expect a bit better from him just overall this season. I thought he'd come a bit closer to like a 350, 400 player, but yeah, just really only had one good week, right? Like in terms of a huge score. Yeah, it was week 1, and that was really it. Like an 86 is fine. Yeah, I'm trying to see like I'm guessing he prefers GMHBA, but not all of it. I mean, this game doesn't count. Like, North weren't even competitive. And then Darcy Jones was trade in, but it was kind of a hard week for him, so it's what it is. Even if he gets dropped, he's just a bench loop. Not too big a deal. As for trades, like I said, Harley and Graham for Sullivan, who I'm hoping keeps his spot. Having a look at Collingwood's team list, see if I can pull it up. Oops, not that one. Team lineups. Let's see, Collingwood would be down the bottom. Looking at their team, Harvey Harrison could get dropped for DeGoey. And then it depends on if Tom Mitchell's available for this week. If he is, because Howe's not playing, which means I'd imagine Sidebottom goes back to half forward, or like half forward wing, his normal role. DeGoey comes in. Who do you chuck there? What do you play? Dacos of half back for one more game? Just because you need to? Reef McGuinness probably gets dropped. I don't think Sullivan's getting dropped this week. If he does, I'll just go to the other Collingwood guy. And then, man, I don't want to. It's, the Thanos quote of like, dread it, run from it, destiny arrives, all the same. That's Zorko, right? Like, I don't want to trade in this guy because I know he's going to get hurt. And I'm, knock on wood, but I know he's going to get hurt. 17 trades, 1, 2, 3, 4 players, 5 players I need. The 40 trades were too many this year. But yeah, that's probably how we're going to line up this week in terms of rookies. I'm going to do this again. It lets me see Sullivan score. I'll do that. And then I can just make the swap, right? No. Yes? Where's Saints? There we are. Yeah, I can watch him and then make the swap. Can't do anything defense. Can't do anything here. Vice captain and captain, hey? What are we going to do? Don't mind Dacos against Adelaide. Don't mind Bont against the Giants, honestly, as a vice. I know this is like a rivalry game. 164, he's got a 120 against them. Average is 108. It's not terrible. I don't mind it, but am I going to go Zorko? Actually, am I? Because I don't know if I'm going to have a loop. Will I have a loop? I won't have one if I do that. Oh no, I will. I'll have Hor. Okay, so I've got to work that in defense. Him into Gorn, probably. Don't mind that. What is West Coast versus Ruck is the worst in the comp, so yeah, I'll take that. I'll take Gorn. That's probably about it for this week. Let me know what trades you guys are making. If I probably pressed optimize, it would have done it for me. But let me know what trades you guys are making. I think Ravelli review. I don't know how to say that. I think he's going to get dropped, or if he doesn't, he's just going to be a sub risk type of player. So I wouldn't really go for him. Richards, wait a week. Rankin, he's too much of a proper forward, right? Just going into some players. I mean, we're already at 30 minutes. Let me just do this quickly. Jackson, I don't mind, but I'd like Darcy to get hurt. I mean, knock on wood, I don't want anyone getting hurt, but for Jackson to be a pick, you probably don't want Darcy in the team every week. Rankin, he's got to put up big scores like this, but he's also going to give you 60s. So you have to be okay with that. Mackay, Kernos, no way. Dylan Moore kind of got underscored, but I don't think he was going to ton this week. I think he probably deserved maybe a 90 or an 85, but not 100. Myers is a no. Hogan's a no. Norton's a no. Caldwell's a maybe. I mean, I don't like the pick, but it's a maybe. Cameron's no, no. Langford's no. Bolton's no. Neil Pullen's no. Man, there's no one. Oh, Zach Fisher I should talk about. So he's only 5k more or 6k more than what he started at, and he's got negative 16 break even. The only reason I'm not even looking at him is because I can't do anything with that. So if I go Zorko out, where is he? He'll be here on him. If I do that, it doesn't let me do anything, right? If that got me to a proper ruckman or something like that, then maybe I'd look at it, but I don't think it's the worst, given the state of the forward line, even if you just get a little bit of cash off of him and then trade him out, it's not the worst. But yeah, that's about it for this week. Tasty out.